So I want to take a couple of minutes and give you a couple of tips and tricks that you're going to find in the workshops that I offer on how to keep a travel journal. We all end up traveling and coming back with a smartphone full of photographs, but you can come back with a really spectacular travel journal. So in the workshops that I do, one of the things that I try to impart is some of these tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. When you're doing a paddle trip in the wilderness of the Canadian Arctic, or on lakes or hikes around the area, taking grandkids gold panning, all of those kinds of things if you're doing a hiking journal, or maybe a warm winter vacation. So here's a couple of tricks for you. So one of them is when you travel, when you're putting your kit together, and I've got a whole section that deals with what kind of kit you should take with you when you travel. One of the tricks is to take a metal pencil sharpener. Now, it sounds kind of simple and goofy, but if you take one of these plastic pencil sharpeners, you're probably going to find at some point that it's going to fall and break. And in fact, that's exactly what happened to me one time. I think it was Puerto Vallarta, sitting at a just a table, kind of table on the side of the street, having a coffee, and my pencil sharpener fell off the table and somebody stepped on it and it was gone. Now, you can't travel with little pen knives to keep your pencil sharp these days. So always take a metal pencil sharpener, and you'll never regret having that to sharpen those pencils. And just take an HB. All kinds of advice to give you if you look on the internet about traveling with a 2H and a 6B and all those kinds of things. Really get yourself an HB pencil. Go to your junk drawer and pull out an HB pencil and your metal pencil sharpener. At your local art supply shop, it's probably going to cost you a couple of bucks, and it's not a big deal. So that's trick number one, is the metal pencil sharpener. Trick number two I'm going to talk to you about is getting yourself a drink coaster, beer coaster, drink coaster that you find in a restaurant, maybe when you're on your way to your warm winter vacation, or somewhere along the road in a road trip that you're traveling on, and use that as a guide. Now, you can look at these travel journal pages, and you've got this whole big page, and a lot of people, when I'm teaching about travel journals, they find this really intimidating. So the best way that I've found to deal with that intimidation is just not to worry about painting up that whole page. Let me give you an example. This is the travel journal that I did on a paddle trip through the Kootenay, all the lakes and rivers in the Kootenay region of southeast British Columbia. So there's the beer coaster, in this case, Granville Island beer, and there's the size of that. So again, I didn't worry about how am I going to fill out that whole page and that kind of thing. I wanted some little representation of the campsite that we had. So just a couple of little tents there, just an arc. If you go to my YouTube channel, Travel Journal 101 on YouTube, there's a little video there on how to draw tents. So think about doing and using a beer mat. So that's one example. This is a hiking trip up through Barkerville, gold mining ghost town that we took the grandkids through. And again, there's that beer mat size. 3 different spiky kind of flowers, a kind of bluebell flower, fireweed, and paintbrush here. And painted them right over the text. You can do that. It's watercolor. You can read right through it. But there's the size. And I haven't worried about painting up the whole size of that. This is a canoe trip up through the Yukon Territory and far north western British Columbia and into the Yukon Territory. And again, there's that beer mat size. This is a little sketch map of our campsite. So lots of ways that you can do that. This is the first one that I showed you. This was a travel journal in Zihuatanejo, Mexico, a warm winter vacation for a month. And there's a round beer mat there. So different sizes and shapes and colors, that you can do. This is actually the bottom of one of my drinking glasses, and I just drew that around to capture those balloons, which kind of represented the kind of event and festival that was happening at the time. So there's trick number two. Trick number one is that metal pencil sharpener. Trick number 2 is the beer coaster. And there's lots more tips and tricks in the workshops that I'll be offering. So to get to the art and the design in your travel journals, and you can do it. It's simple and easy, and a lot of it is just about what the tricks are. So join in there. Follow along at Travel Journal 101, and we'll get you going on your very own travel journal.